Hey guys, today's video is going to be about the stock market crash of 1929. We're just going to give you a basic understanding of it. I'm going to kind of throw a lot of stuff at you in this video. But if you have any questions on it, you can read the textbook or just reach out to me and I'll help explain it a little bit more. So I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to go over some of the basics of a business. And for example, like an example would be a lemonade stand. Some of you probably know some of the basics, but I'm going to review it and look at it a little bit more. All right, so with that, this is what we're going to do today in this video. We're going to describe how entrepreneurs take risks to start a business. We're going to discuss the stock market crash of 1929, and then finally describe the bank function of a loan. All those are new terms, but I'll review them and go over them if you don't know what those are. But these are economic understandings. This is all about kind of an economy and aspects of a different economy. An economy is just the wealth or money, the money and resources of a country, and they do that through making, buying, and selling goods or services. A good would be like, food or the iPhone or something like that, or AirPods. And a service would be something like um, service of mowing somebody's lawn, or cleaning somebody's house. Those are services that we provide for, or education. That would be a service, or law enforcement. Law enforcement would be a service. All right. So with that, I'll just go ahead and get into it. All right. So the stock market crash of 1929. All right. So before we get into that, I just want to give you a little bit of background information. So remember the last video we talked about people like Andrew Mellon and President Harding and President Coolidge, and their goal was to cut taxes and give more money back to the people. People could keep more money from what they earned, and they could spend their money on new businesses. They could buy stuff like radios, or new products like ironing boards, dishwashers, things like that. And with that came what was called an economic boom. The economy was exploding in a very good way. People could, or businesses could, produce goods at a really high speed. They, like for example, cars. They could make cars really quickly and sell them to people for kind of cheap. Wages were going up. People were making more money. So, for example, this isn't true of 1920, but this is just my point. $10 an hour. People's wages were going up. Also, demand. Demand is something. It's just another way of saying, I want a good, or I want a product. And I kind of said this. I want an iPhone, or I want something that will allow me to talk to my friends and families from faraway places. I want that. I demand that. That's what that is. Also, sales. That just means that people are buying stuff. And all of this is going up. Everything is exploding and it's booming. And so I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna talk to you about what this thing is called, an entrepreneur, because people had more money to spend, and there are these people who are called entrepreneurs, and they're just pretty much people who can start their own business and try to make it bigger. So say if somebody like Andrew Carnegie or John D. Rockefeller, they have something like steel or oil that they want to sell. And they started their business on a really small level, but then they made it bigger and bigger and bigger as time went on. And those are entrepreneurs. But entrepreneurs they kind of run into some problems. Entrepreneurs take on something called risk. And if you've ever heard of that word risk before, like maybe I'll use it in a sentence. Uh, going into outer space may be risky because you know that there's a possibility of danger out there. Or maybe there's a risk of going into a forest because maybe there's something dangerous like wild animals or something like that. But entrepreneurs, in a business sense, they take on something called risk. And this is what they're risking. Entrepreneurs will start their business and they have to have money to start their business. And this is the possibility, this is the danger that kind of comes with starting your own business. Let's say you want to start your own business. Let's say you want to sell shoes. I don't know. Say you want to sell shoes. If people don't buy a good or service, if people don't buy your shoes, the entrepreneur risks losing their time, money, or even their business. So if you decide to want to start a shoe business, if no one's going to buy your shoes, guess what? Your business is most likely going to fail, and you will lose all of your money. And that's the risk that entrepreneurs have when starting a business. So why starting a business is always a risky thing, because you're not sure if it's going to be successful or not. Okay, so with that, in order for entrepreneurs to start their business, they need money. So entrepreneurs need money to start and grow their businesses. And oftentimes they need a lot more money than what they have. You think about like if you wanted to sell stores out of a shoe, or sell shoes out of a store, think of what you would need. You need all the materials for shoes. You need the cloth, the rubber. You need a building to sell it out of. You need equipment, tools. You need people to work for you. All that costs a lot of money just to even start your business. And so what they do is entrepreneurs they get something called a loan. And a loan is pretty much just the lending of money by individuals or banks. So if you wanted to start a shoe company, you could ask, your parents or friends or a bank to give you some money, because you need that money again to start your business. You need to buy all those materials, a store, people to work for you so that you can pay them. You need a loan, or you need somebody to lend you money. And I will make one comment about a loan. When people give you a loan, they're not just being nice about it. They're not just doing it because they're good people. They'll loan you money because they want to possibly earn that, or people loan you money hoping that they get their money back. If I want to give you money, I'm hoping that your business will be successful enough that you can pay me back. That's what a loan is in the real world. All right. So that's how entrepreneurs start their businesses. So let's kind of bring it back into the 1920s. In the 1920s, individuals can loan money to businesses in the form of stock certificates. In the 1920s, maybe somebody might want to spend, maybe they loan maybe $100 worth into this new up-and-coming business that maybe sells shoes. Let's just kind of stick with that example. Maybe somebody wants to start a shoe company, and that shoe company is actually really successful. Well, I'm kind of thinking, well, hey, if that shoe company is really successful, what if I lend them some of my money, and if I know that they're successful, I know they're going to make money. So why not loan them some of my money and hope that I can get that money back and hopefully get a little bit more? And that's kind of what a stock certificate is. A stock certificate is something that you buy that says you own a tiny portion or share of a company. So you maybe loan some money to a business, and you buy a stock certificate. That pretty much says, you know what, I own a very small portion of your business. I share a portion of your business. And so, if I own part of that business, if the business does well, if it's successful, then guess what? I get to earn my money back and I get to earn some of that reward. I get to reward for spending my money on a good and successful business. All right, I'm going to stop it right there. I'll pick up back up in another video.